regardless of religion, one thing that Africans will, I believe, unanimously do is remind you that you are of a certain age or above a certain age and that you are unmarried and have no kids. Do you think that I am out here having premarital sex? Assalamu alaikum everyone, and welcome to my channel. And if you are a returning viewer, welcome back. Welcome ladies, hopefully ladies, because my channel is for the girls, to the diaries of a firstborn daughter in an African household. If you are a firstborn daughter in an African household, let me hold your hand real quick. Because us firstborn daughters in African homes, we have such special niche and unwanted experiences. But before I get into today's video, let me introduce myself. Hello everyone, Salam alaikum. My name is Yaya. Again, I'm 29 years old. I am the first daughter in an African household. Not only am I the first daughter, I'm the first daughter, I'm the first granddaughter, and I am the first great-granddaughter. 3 generations of first. So when I make a video like this, I kind of know what I'm talking about. And this is not going to be like a trauma dumping video. I'm going to try to refrain from trauma dumping. I'm going to try to speak with as much compassion and empathy and, you know, just all around good vibes as much as I can. So like I was saying, I'm going to try my best not to trauma dump. And I'm saying that acknowledging the fact that so much of mine and a lot of firstborn African daughters out there stories is so full of trauma. And it's like, how are you not going to trauma dump? I'm here to tell you guys how I moved away from that, how I basically forced myself away from that, how I set boundaries with the people who are close to me, because a lot of people have not made it to where I am in my life right now, and I'm okay with that. I am the happiest and the most at peace that I have been in my adult life in a really, really long time. And I noticed that this sense of happiness and this level of peace and just contentment started when certain people were no longer in my life. So I'm actually not in a hurry to reconnect. But anyway, I'm grateful. I know a lot of people's stories are not like this. I'm grateful that I do have close family members that stuck with me through the journey and respected my boundaries when I decided to set them, and they respect the new boundaries as I set them, because the boundaries they're gonna be setting. And the family members that I'm close to right now, that I keep up with, that I contact frequently, that I visit frequently, that I hang out with frequently, they are the people who respect boundaries that I've set it. They might not understand it. It's not for you to understand. It's for you to respect it. So today's video is specifically going to be about the topic of marriage and children. Marriage and children, and this statement that, you know, I've heard a lot of older family members say to me, which just never made any sense to me. And as a 29-year-old, I'm 29 years old, I'm from a Christian family. I reverted to Islam. If you're curious about, you know, when, how, why that happened, I do have a video about that, like 3 or 4 videos back. But everybody in my family pretty much is Christian. I'm the only Muslim in my family. But regardless of religion, one thing that Africans will, I believe, unanimously do is remind you that you are of a certain age or above a certain age and that you are unmarried and have no kids. And there's this statement, there's when people say, okay, if marriage is hard, that is, if you're not seeing, you know, good prospects, or, you know, for whatever reason you're not getting married, then just go ahead and have kids. How is that a good idea? I had a conversation not so recently, but in the process of, you know, setting boundaries with people who do love and respect me and are able to, you know, sit down and actually listen and understand when I set my boundaries, even though it might not make sense to them, they're able to respect it. And they had made this statement like, hey, you know, if marriage is not coming, why don't you go ahead and have kids? And I was like, first of all, let's bring religion into it real quick. The first question I asked, and I was like, hey, alhamdulillah, I want to say that I'm a good practicing Muslim. I'm not perfect. Do you think that I am out here having premarital sex? And another thing, sex is such a taboo word in African households. I just had to come out and say it, because if you're telling me that since you're not able to get married, just go ahead and bust it wide open and have a child, I was like, do you think that I'm having premarital sex? And they were like, oh, are you not? And I was like, I had to think about it and like kind of remind myself that, okay, we are speaking from 2 different views. Because even, you know, in Christianity as well, you're actually not supposed to have premarital sex, but we're not going to get into that. This is not a comparison of religions. This was just me kind of reiterating what this new lifestyle that I have chosen for myself, this new religion, what some of the details are, because apparently it wasn't obvious. I didn't get an answer, but I got a question in return, and they were like, oh, how are you supposed to get married when you haven't known the person? And I was like, well, funny you should mention that. He will know me after he's married. Whoever I marry will know me in that sense after the wedding, after the nikah, not before, not a moment before. And it was a little bit of a humbling and educating moment, and I was like, look, if I'm getting married today, I want you guys to keep in your head that that man has not touched me, has not kissed me, and has definitely not had sex with me. And despite the religiosity of, you know, premarital sex or whatnot, in what world is being a single mother I'm trying to find my words. And I know that there are women out there who, you know, want to be a mother so badly that might not sound bad to them. I'm not one of those women. The thing is, my family knows that. They know that. I've set these boundaries and I have said these things repeatedly. Being a single mother is not something I would choose for myself. It is not, it's never going to be an option. It is never going to be an option. I will never willingly say, okay, marriage is not coming. Let me just get pregnant and have a child. Now I know, never say never, because life will, you know, throw you something, but there will be a marriage first, okay? You see what I mean? Marriage, kids, and then whatever life has in store. We don't pray for it, but whatever life has in store. That is me taking the precautions. That's not saying single motherhood is never gonna meet me. My cat wants to be on camera so badly. Let her say hi to y'all so she can leave me alone. Say hi. Say hi. This is Momo, everyone. She's my baby. And to me, that is the only right way to do it. That is me taking precautionary measures that I will, inshallah, have a partner to raise these children with. I don't want to do it alone. I do not want to do it alone. Now, if life throws that situation at me and I'm forced to do it alone, that's a whole different scenario. That is not me willingly walking out there and saying, okay, I'm 29 years old, nobody's married me yet. Let me just go ahead and, you know, start reproducing. Nah. So, being at the ripe old geriatric age of 29 years old, there's certain family members that when they say it, I will, you know, immediately I will set the boundary and okay, you want single motherhood for me? And there's other family members who it's not really worth me setting a boundary, because it's like, look, I'm gonna talk to you once a year. If the one time a year that I talk to you, the only thing you have to tell me is, oh, you know, if you're not getting married, you might as well have kids, then that's why we only talk once a year. So the boundary that I've set, the family members who are close to me, and they know there's just certain things that they're not gonna bring up with me. Like, for example, the topic of marriage, because first of all, it don't concern none of y'all. And it's so crazy because I know this is not like a unique experience or anything, but you look at, like, for example, you look at my life and you look at what I've accomplished in life. You look at my education, you look at how, you know, well-traveled I am. You look at, you know, physical fitness, how I'm keeping fit and I'm going to the gym often. You look at, you know, how I'm constantly learning. You look at how I'm, you know, I have a good group of friends. You look at how I'm just living life and I'm genuinely trying to be happy. You look at how, you know, I'm taking care of my mental health. I'm going to therapy. And it's still, for some people, it's still never going to be enough without you attaching the title of wife behind it. Like, yeah, she's educated, she travels a lot, and, you know, she has a good life going for herself, her mental health is good, and she's a wife. I have uprooted myself. I have taken myself away from there. And not to say that they don't still say it. You're not gonna say it to me, though. I'm not one to just throw out respect for the sake of you aren't older than me. If you're older and you don't have common sense and you don't know how to reciprocate that respect, you get no respect from me. I'll be cordial and I will avoid you. I'm so grateful for the day that I decided to put my foot down and say enough of this, because that is how I'm able to have the life that I have right now. And even like when it comes to, like, you know, taking care of my mental health, as I mentioned earlier, when I started going to therapy, I told a family member of mine that I'm really close to, and I was like, you know, I started going to therapy, and they were like, oh, are you like mentally ill? And I was like, not necessarily. I have things that I'm trying to work through, and I believe that enlisting the help of a mental health professional will help me work towards that. And I'm going to therapy because none of y'all believe in therapy and none of y'all are going to therapy. So I'm going to therapy for me and for all of you guys. I'm the black sheep of the family. I'm known as, you know, the disrespectful, the useless, the whatever other adjectives you want to use to describe, and I wear that now with pride. So yeah, I went to therapy, and it's not like okay, go to therapy. It's not like antibiotic, you take it for 10 days and you're done. It's a continuous process, because as much as I think that I've healed from something, you don't really know if you've healed from something until you're triggered like about that thing and see how you react. So sometimes I feel like, okay, I've gone to therapy and I've healed from this or from this person, and then something happens that triggers it, and I was like, I've actually not healed. And I know healing is not linear. And I know there's possibly not ever going to be like a finish line, but I'm not standing in one place, and that's good enough for me. Wow, I did really good with that. I didn't like trauma dump in any way. I'm very, very proud of myself. But today's video was just about the one topic, the topic of if you're not getting married, or if marriage is difficult for you, then go ahead and have children. There's so many other topics and so many other areas in my life that I have set boundaries on, and this, you know, healing the firstborn African daughter can honestly be like a thing that I come back to. I haven't cracked the code for healing, but looking at where I am right now, the Yaya that I am today and the life that I'm living right now, me 10-15 years ago didn't even think that this was possible. And she'd be very proud of me. And I think about that often when life wants to get me down, and when things are, I'm a human being. I see how other families behave towards each other. I see the love and I see the respect that they didn't have to set boundaries and cut people off to get. I wish that was me, but it's not. And I'm okay with that. I've learned to be okay with that. And if that's the price that I have to pay to prioritize and be comfortable with the state of my mental health, the state of my physical, emotional health, the overall well-being as a human being, then I don't mind it. And I know I've said a lot of me. I wouldn't have to be this way if I had family and community that allowed me to still experience this while being close to them. But because they don't allow that, I choose me. And so yes, me. It's okay. By the way, if you're wondering, like, wow, her makeup looks really good, I wish she did this like with a makeup tutorial. I do have a makeup tutorial coming out on my Instagram, so if you're not following me on Instagram, here's my Instagram name, and it's also going to be linked as well as on my TikTok, because you know, TikTok is my thing. I'm going to be posting this on TikTok as well. The makeup tutorial, it's going to be on TikTok. So here's my TikTok, and it's also going to be linked in the description box. It is currently 11:34 p.m. I was supposed to go to work today, but I got canceled, which is like a story for another day. And speaking of YouTube, please go ahead and subscribe to this channel. I have been working on putting out more consistent content for you guys. I've upgraded my little setup. I've upgraded, you know, my background's looking cute. Like, come on, you know, the content is giving. Go ahead and click the bell notification button so you're notified every time I upload. But in case you're wondering, I upload on Sundays. I try to upload on Sundays at noon, but sometimes it's a little bit later if your girl is falling behind on editing. Please, I am still trying to organize my life, and please interact with me in the comment section if you have any questions, if you have any suggestions of the kind of videos that you'd like to see from me. I'm for the people. I want to make content that you genuinely enjoy and that you find useful. So let me know what you want to see. I was gonna do my until next time with my cat, but she's asleep. Until next time, bye.